Last week I posted a video about creatine and my new journey with creatine. I am definitely a fan, but what I didn't go over were some of the cons and some of the negative side effects. And should everyone be taking creatine? No, they shouldn't. So I will link the video that I posted last week right up above, and I will also post it down below in the description. And what I'll do is at the end of this video, just attach that video to it. So if you want to run through this video and then jump right into the video I posted last week, you can do it right here. All right, so let's go an even deeper dive into creatine. Welcome to Boom 50 Fitness. My name's Regan, and this is your channel for all things health and fitness in your 50s and beyond. In that last video, I told you that I'm a big fan of creatine and I've seen some huge benefits to taking creatine. So this is something that I am going to keep in my supplement routine. And it is safe to take, however, not everyone should be taking creatine. Okay, here's the little disclaimer. My degree's in exercise physiology with a strong emphasis on nutrition, but I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist or a dietitian yet. So before taking any new supplements, make sure to check with a registered dietitian or your doctor. Okay, really quick overview. Creatine supplies energy to the muscles. It's an amino acid, which are building blocks of proteins. And proteins help build muscle, help build bones, and help repair tissues. Creatine is a natural source of energy that your skeletal muscles use during the contraction phase of an exercise. So basically it helps create this steady stream of energy to keep your muscles going, especially during exercise. About half your body's supply of creatine, which is 1 to 2 grams, comes from your diet. Foods like red meat and fish, foods that are high in protein. And the other half is naturally the kidneys and the pancreas. They deliver about 95% of the creatine that your skeletal muscles use during exercise. And where does the rest go? Well, it goes to your heart, your brain, and other tissues. Studies show that creatine supplementation is really safe for most people, but not everybody. If you have kidney disease, liver disease, diabetes, or you're breastfeeding, you have to check with your doctor first. In fact, as I said earlier, I recommend that everybody check with your doctor before trying any new supplement. So just check with your healthcare provider before starting on a creatine journey. And if you did watch that other video, I talked about how I decided to try it to help increase my lean muscle mass. But what I didn't mention is that creatine can actually help with brain function as well. And that would include short-term memory, reasoning, and neuroprotection. And that's just keeping nerve cells safe from damage or injury. One thing we don't know yet is whether or not creatine can help with cognitive conditions like dementia. But there is a lot of research going on, and hopefully there'll be some exciting news in the future. I touched on this in the previous video, but let's talk about what's really going on when you first start taking creatine. Most of the creatine will go into your skeletal muscle, and there it will be converted into a creatine compound called creatine phosphate. Phosphocreatine then helps create adenosine triphosphate. You probably have heard of it as ATP. And ATP is a source of energy that your cells use during exercise. So creatine basically just helps maintain a continuous energy supply to your muscles during exercise. So if creatine helps provide more energy, then it's going to help in the long run with muscle growth. But what it also does is help speed up muscle recovery. I've talked about this in other videos, but when you strength train or exercise, you create these tiny little muscle tears in the muscle, these micro tears. And when your body heals itself, that's when the muscles become stronger. And what creatine does to help speed up the recovery is it activates satellite cells, so you'll recover even faster than you have in the past. Creatine also increases anabolic hormones, and these hormones contribute to growth and tissue repair. And they include insulin, HGH, which is human growth hormone, estrogen, and testosterone. And creatine will help boost water content within the muscle cells. What will better cell hydration do for you? Well, it will help with muscle growth, and it will also help reduce the chance of dehydration or muscle cramps. Have you ever had a muscle cramp during a hard workout? It's not fun, but I'll tell you what, since I've been taking creatine, I haven't had one muscle cramp. So let's talk about what will happen if you stop taking creatine. When you stop taking creatine, what will happen is your creatine levels will just gradually start to drop over the next few weeks. That's not necessarily a bad thing because your body will still make creatine naturally, but you may have some side effects. And the side effects that might occur, well, probably will occur when your creatine level drops is you'll probably experience a little fatigue, loss of muscle mass, weight loss, which I know some of you out there are on a weight loss journey, or as I like to say, a fat loss journey. But what will happen is while on the creatine you got stronger, maybe you gained a couple pounds due to more muscle mass. Well, you're going to lose some of that muscle, and that's going to show on the scale. But what we're really trying to do is change your body composition, boost your metabolism. So what happens when you do that and you gain some muscle, you put on a couple pounds. So you'll lose that muscle mass, and that's going to show on the scale. But no, that's not a good thing. That's not what we want. We want to build the muscle mass. And the last thing is there might be a short-term decrease in your regular level of creatine. And one good thing is you'll probably be able to maintain the strength gains, but what will happen is you probably won't be able to get stronger if you stop taking it. So if you don't experience any negative side effects, why not just keep taking it? So let me list out the pros of taking creatine before I go into the cons. So for people who work out regularly, creatine can help improve your exercise performance, help with recovery after intense exercise, increase muscle mass, prevent severe muscle injuries, help you tolerate more intense activity, reduce dehydration and cramping, like I mentioned, and this is a good one, minimize muscle tightness like strains. Y'all know a strain is different from a sprain, right? I'll go into that at a later date. I love all those athletic benefits, but creatine can also help people with neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's or muscular dystrophy. Creatine can also benefit people with diabetes, osteoarthritis, and fibromyalgia. All right, let's go over some of the negative side effects that can occur when you take creatine. Weight gain because of fluid retention, dizziness, nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, and excessive sweating. If you are experiencing any of these side effects with the recommended amount, which is 5 grams per day, I would say just back off, scale back to 1 to 2 grams. And you could take the 5 grams, but spread it out throughout the day. Sometimes what people will do is when they want the fast muscle gains is they'll take a whole bunch of creatine in a day for an extended period of time, like 20 grams a day, and then they'll back off to the regular 5 grams a day. I would not suggest this if your body is not used to taking creatine. I would start out slow and then gradually increase to the 5 grams because really, that's all you need. Okay, there's one other negative side effect that I didn't read in any of my research until a client brought it up and said that her son started taking creatine and he noticed some hair loss, so he stopped. So let's see if there's a correlation between hair loss and taking creatine. Research suggests that creatine is not the main contributor to hair loss, but creatine can affect the hormone that does lead to hair loss. There is not much research that indicates that creatine leads to hair loss. In fact, most of it is just anecdotal, which just means it comes from people's personal experiences, like my friend's son. But what research shows is that in some people, a very small amount, there can be an increase in the hormone hydrotestosterone, and that is the hormone that can contribute to hair loss. Dihydrotestosterone, that is a mouthful, or DHT, is derived from another hormone. You guessed it, testosterone. And like I said, hair loss doesn't happen with most people, but if you have a genetic disposition to hair loss, you may want to reconsider not taking creatine. All right, so I think that's it for today. We went over the pros and cons of creatine, and I am still a strong believer in creatine. I am going to keep taking it, and I will continue to probably keep taking it the rest of my life. For me, the pros outweigh the cons, so I am going to continue on my creatine journey, and I am going to take you with me. Linked below is Thorne Creatine. It's a monohydrate creatine, which is the best one for you to be taking. So I'll link that down below. It's my absolute favorite, and I am very, very picky when it comes to supplements. Let me know in the comments below if you have been on a creatine journey too, or if you're thinking about taking it. I would love to hear from you. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you did not watch my previous video on creatine, just keep on watching because we're gonna roll right into that. My name's Regan, this is Boom 50 Fitness, your new BFF. I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a healthy day. A little over 30 days ago, I started taking a supplement that has been proven to help build lean muscle. It's actually a supplement that in the past I have told people it's just not necessary if you strength train, eat plenty of protein, and have a healthy diet all around. But once I hit perimenopause, I started to see my body change, even though I was doing the same exact things. I just wasn't feeling as strong, and I was actually noticing my muscles were just a little softer than they used to be. Because I started struggling through my workouts a little bit more, I wasn't enjoying them as much, and what I did was I scaled back so I wasn't training as frequently, which of course I didn't like, so I decided to give this supplement a try. What is it? It's creatine. Welcome to Boom 50 Fitness. My name's Regan, and this is your channel for all things health and fitness in your 50s and beyond. Okay, so today let's talk all things you need to know about creatine, specifically for women. I know, when you think about creatine, you think about bodybuilders, but creatine is not just for men wanting to build muscle. There are so many benefits to creatine, especially women who exercise and are interested in supporting lean muscle growth. So if you exercise, specifically strength train 2 to 3 times a week, you may want to consider taking a creatine supplement, and it's going to help support your fitness goals. Creatine is an amino acid that our body stores in our brain as well as our muscles, and it's used as a natural energy source. When our bodies need energy, like during exercise, creatine is converted into phosphocreatine, and this is what helps fuel your muscles. I like my creatine in a powdered formation, but you can also get creatine from things like organ meat, kidneys, liver, but that's not my favorite stuff, so I just go with a powdered formula. But you can also get it from red meat, pork, and fish. So for all you vegans out there, taking creatine is something you definitely want to consider. Okay, let's talk about how creatine specifically affects women. Like I said earlier, along with diet and exercise, creatine has been shown to help build lean muscle in women. And why is that? Because it can help sustain higher energy levels during exercise. Creatine supplementation can also help support mental clarity during a workout because of increased oxygen to the brain. And that can make all the difference in a mentally challenging workout. Can creatine benefit some women more than others? Well, yes. If you're going through perimenopause, menopause, or post-menopause, creatine supplementation can have huge benefits for you. What's the biggest benefit? Well, it can help support healthy bones and skeletal muscle mass, which, as you know, is a huge concern when it comes to women and aging. So creatine, along with strength training, can improve physical function, increase lean body mass, and just help improve your overall quality of life. Most women over 50 have experienced some sort of muscle loss, and creatine can help rebuild that muscle. But you have to stick with a consistent exercise routine, and you have to get plenty of protein. Are you worried about weight gain? Well, let's talk about whether or not creatine is going to make you gain weight. We all exercise for a variety of reasons, but mostly it's to maintain overall health. But I know many of you out there are also exercising to either lose weight or to maintain a healthy weight. So one of the stigmas around creatine is it's gonna make you bulky. And I know that dissuades a lot of women from taking creatine, but the reality is just way more complicated. While creatine will not increase body fat levels, it may increase the water that your muscles hold on to. And this, of course, can lead to some water weight gain. And it may contribute to weight gain due to increased muscle mass, because we all know when we start a strength training program, you can gain 1 to 2 pounds, maybe even a little more. Have I personally noticed water weight gain? I have not, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't happen to you. So what type of creatine should you try out if you decide to try it? Like all supplements, you want to pick one with pure ingredients and no fillers. The one I've been taking is creatine monohydrate, and it's by the company called Thorne. I will link it down in the description. I will also link Element down in the description. That's what I take it with, and it tastes so good. You will love it. And one thing with creatine is you want to take it every day. It actually builds up in the muscle. And what is the recommended dosage? 5 grams per day. So like I said, I just add a scoop of creatine, which is the 5 grams, to some water, and then on top of that, I add a little Element electrolyte drink mix, and it's the perfect combination. What you may want to do is ease into it. Instead of starting right off the bat with the 5 grams, maybe start with just a couple grams and see how your body reacts. Because one thing I did learn is you do not want to take creatine on an empty stomach. I did that once by mistake, and for the next couple hours after taking it, I just didn't feel good. And I realized it was because I took the creatine on an empty stomach. So if you can build up to that 5 grams a day, every day, you don't want to skip it, you are going to notice an increase in muscle strength and also in muscle power and performance. So bottom line, it doesn't really matter what time of day you take it, just make sure to take it. All right, so what have I noticed taking creatine? Well, I don't think this is psychosomatic. In fact, I am sure it's not, but my performance when I'm working out is definitely enhanced. If you've watched some of the workout videos on this channel, you probably know the importance of progressive overload. That means basically you're not doing the same strength training routine every time you work out, because if you do that, you'll just plateau. What you need to do is progressive overload, and that is changing up your workout with either the weight, which would be the resistance, or the amount of repetitions. A video that I made a few months ago, I talked about how I scaled back on my strength training. I go on lots of walks. I will always do that. I walk 10,000 steps every day, never ever skip it. But I scaled back on my strength training, and I was just doing it 3 times a week, which I was used to doing it 5 days a week. So one of the things I noticed when I took the creatine, not only was I stronger as I was working out, but I felt like my recovery was speeded up. So I am able to go back to my 4 to 5 days of strength training. So one thing I noticed with the creatine is I can work harder during my workouts. Now, you know I love that phrase, work smarter, not harder. So I'm not extending the length of my workouts, but I have increased the weight and I've also increased the reps. And I did that pretty quickly. In fact, I went to Big 5 Sporting Goods the other day to get heavier weights because I didn't have anything above 20 pounds. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I was starting to feel a little bit softer before I started taking the creatine. And boy, has that changed. I feel like I am stronger than ever, and I am able to lift heavier than I have ever before. So for me, I think it's super important. So with a healthy diet with a lot of protein. What I try to get is I eat my body weight in protein every day. And yes, I know that's a lot. It doesn't leave a lot of room for other things. So mostly my diet consists of really good high quality proteins mixed with veggies and a little fruit here and there. And then of course the strength training and a little bit of creatine to just support all the healthy things that I'm doing already. So just like any supplements, creatine is beneficial if you add it to your daily routine. And of course, stay consistent. Take it every day. So needless to say, I absolutely love creatine. I am sold on it. If you were the friend of mine that reached out, I can't remember who it was. This was a few months back before I started taking it. I had said you should try to just get everything you need from a healthy diet because they were interested in a creatine gummy, which, by the way, most vitamins and supplements I just do not recommend taking in gummy form. So you're gonna love this company called Thorne that I mentioned. The link is down below. Check it out. I know you will be happy with it. But I must put that disclaimer out there. My degree is in exercise physiology with an emphasis on nutrition, but I am not a nutritionist or a dietitian yet. So if you are going to start taking creatine, always check with your doctor first and make sure it's something that they would be supportive of. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can't tell you how excited it makes me every time I see that I have a new subscriber. So thank you to all of you subscribers out there. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. I would love to see more of you here. My name's Regan. This is Boom 50 Fitness, your new BFF. See you next Thursday.